When people had asked me how many lifts you're going to do this year, last year using 45-pound dumbbells, I got up to where I could do 500 continuous lifts with 45-pound dumbbells in each hand. And if I had said I can only do 200 lifts or 300, my mind would have told me that's my limit.
Yeah.
Right? There is no limit. You just lift, and if someone's pushing, you keep going.
Yeah.
You just don't stop. So Jack LaLanne, and look at Bob Delmonteque, age 17, 67, age 80, looking better with years. Jack LaLanne, a huge inspiration to me. Now these guys know as they get past 60, 70, 80, they have to balance their hormones. They have to understand herbs and supplements. They have to understand quality sleep. But to a guy, they're going to perform better on a plant-based protein diet. We're going to take a little segment in the kitchen here in a minute. You know, the Roman gladiators means horduria, which is barley eaters. And they were exclusively plant-based. They knew to sustain their energy and strength in combat. They had a process of making their barley too, which removed the gluten. They soaked it in a certain way. And we use that same kind of process for our Slim Blend in the barley. We use beans, and they were using dried fruit. Their diet was completely devoid of animal protein and meat. So I think the one thing that I did want to comment on is, from a scientific standpoint, if you look in all the textbooks about human needs for protein, the most misleading study you'll ever see, and to this day they still use it, is the original study by Osborne and Mendel, Ebach. In 1920, they actually fed rats, like eggs only or cheese only or rice only, and they put them in different cages and they measured their growth rate. And they measured the rats to grow biggest on animal proteins and eggs. But the audience looking at us, Ebach, you know, you think about it, they see this picture of this big rat, and on 25% protein, they gained the most size because they're carnivores. They're different than humans. And when you give human breast milk, which is only 6% protein to rats, they don't grow very well. So would you say that human breast milk's deficient for humans?
Absolutely
for babies?
not.
So we realized that these studies were misleading, and it led to what's called the PER, protein efficiency ratio, where they said eggs are the complete protein that matches rat's milk, not human milk. So when we actually look at human milk statistics, we see that human breast milk at 5.7% protein compared to rat's milk, which is 25% protein, compared to cow's milk, 21%, and skim milk up to 40% protein. You don't need all that excess protein. Worse, it's not even in the right format, because its high sulfur content could be very damaging to the body and the bones. And that might be shocking, because everyone thinks you gotta drink milk to have healthy bones. All that acidity and sulfur tends to leach calcium, magnesium, zinc from the bones. One of the leading reasons why we have amongst the highest rate of osteoporosis, besides the Eskimos, which eat too much protein, and they have osteoporosis too. So in children,
That is shocking.
In children, you know, eating more plant-based foods, transitioning from breast milk to eating blended yams, fruit, and various foods, you know, children can get all their protein needs. And T. Colin Campbell pointed out in his great book, The China Study, and I met with him this last year and interviewed him. So just a great human being. And he talked about in 14 days, malignant cells would develop on animal protein-based diets. He also said that going on plant-based foods and exercise would then start clearing up these potential malignant cells, and that means there's hope for people who have developed immune compromised conditions.